What we're going to do here is show you how to set up a Greenstalk with an ultimate spinner so that it has a drip system. So locate on the bottom of the spinner the screw. You take a star tool, I think that's what it's called. Just put it into your impact driver and now unscrew the spinner so that it separates and detaches, and you're going to see how it comes apart. And you kind of want to set both pieces apart aside. Check everything, make sure everything looks good, it's not broken. And if everything looks good, move on to the next part. And what we're going to do is take this top portion of the spinner base and we're going to take a 1/4 inch drill bit with our impact driver and make the hole bigger so that the water hose, the main water line or hose, can supply each level with water. And what we're going to do is later on hook up each level with its own drip sectional hose, I think it's called, in my own words. So we're making a hole a little bigger here, right? And we want to install or assemble the base unit back together. We're not going to screw it on together this time. What we're going to do instead is put the supplier hose through. And you want to bring out a good amount of it because you're just going to be putting on the first level and you want there to be enough so you can install it. And you'll see here in a second how that's going to work. So you want to put the supplier hose through the first level like so. Now it's easier if you don't have anything planted in there already, so I had to be a little careful not to dump everything out. It's a lot easier when it's empty, but you can see that worked. Now this watering disc, you don't need that since you're installing a drip system. So you're good to go to the next part. And what you want to do here is pull the supplier hose through like we did, and you're going to install a T on there. And you want it to go vertical so that then you can install the drip hose portion. So it's a little bit of spinning, turning, a little bit of pressure. You can use pliers to hold the bottom if you're having trouble putting in the T, but you can see here this is the next part. You want to position that on the T unit so that it goes in nice and easy and it's positioned well, not to interrupt the flow of water. And so it should snap on nice and snug. Confirm that on your end. And now we measure, I think it's about maybe 6, probably 9 inches maybe. I usually cut a little more because you can always cut down if you need to. And you want to install this piece on the T unit here like so, because we're getting ready to put the next level on. So we want to be ready here to give the water a channel so it can go up to the next level. And you see here, and they kind of just snap on. You want to make sure there's these little notches that are supposed to go on. And you can see here what I'm doing. Yep, it just snaps right in place. So we got the next level on, and we're repeating the same steps. We install a T unit, then we install the drip hose all over again. And it's basically the same process all the way to the top. There's one extra step when you get to the top, and we'll cover that later on. So we're attaching, then we're going to attach the next level again. You can see here we're getting ready for that. Make sure you don't squeeze with the next level. Don't squeeze any of the plants or the water hose here, the drip portion of it, the drip hose. So snap on the next level into place. And you see that the supplier hose came out. We may need to cut that down a little. You don't want that to be too much, because then the next level will have a hard time sitting in the right position. It's not going to be as snug. So we're going to take some off, as you can see. That piece should be about an inch, maybe inch and a half tops. And this is where you can use the pliers to install the next T-unit. That's what I did when I discovered that it was a bit tough to do with my hands. Hands are kind of large, so it's hard to get in there. So pliers is definitely an easier way to do that. And once you get that on, you can move on to the next level. We want to also install the next drip hose, and then we want to cut the 9-inch supplier hose piece to prepare the next level. And you can see it goes on pretty easy, nothing hard. Just make sure that the drip hose is positioned well, not to get in the way with the next level. And here's what it looks like assembled. And when you reach the top part where you're putting that water reservoir on, you need this little end plug, and you want to plug it in onto that drip hose, because it's not going to have an end piece, and you want to plug that in to keep all the dirt and gunk out, and that'll keep the water flow all going easy all the way to the top. And this is what it looks like assembled with the drip system. You can see some of the herbs that we've already planted, and we also planted strawberries in there. Mint is kind of overtaking a lot of it, a lot of green onion, mint, and different herbs. And you can see here how it looks at the top, and shortly you'll see the drip system in operation. It's working. You want to make sure you test that, make sure there's no clogs or anything anywhere, and that'll confirm if you did it right. And you can see here that the water is dripping, and the soil is getting the water that it needs. And it's just set on a timer, and you don't have to worry about watering it daily. So give one of these a try and let us know what you think.